Southern California possesses some of the top prep football players in the country. We'll break down the area's best that are moving on to the next level.
Welcome to The Ticket, the StubHub Center, the home of the CIF State Football Championships. My name is Danny Page, and this is CIF Championship Game Day. A challenging road to a championship for Chaminade. When you look at the USC Notre Dame game, you have to think about one central idea. These are the top two programs in the history of college football, and that's why it's become such an amazing rivalry. Who is selected? That's the big question. We welcome in Roger Blake, the executive director of the CIF State. Roger, it's always a pleasure to see you here.
It's Danny Page. He's with Gary McKnight. Danny?
Business as usual with Gary McKnight. Stanley Johnson really looks to be rising to the occasion against Aaron Gordon, doesn't he?
Yeah, they're both great players.
We've covered the state championships for a number of years. There hasn't been a big game with the big game feel like this one. You belong in the SEC, don't you? Why are you here at USC?
I just feel that they let me be who I am.
Terrell, UCLA made a late push. I mean, the Bruins had such a great season this past fall under Jim Mora. Why did you decide not to go to UCLA?
To me, it wasn't just about the yardage. It's about how USC scored and when they did. They really put this Washington State team away. When Washington State had a nice opportunity to hang around in the third quarter, there was that killer instinct from Kessler and company, and I think that is an important part for USC here as we hit November. The Dragons from Bishop O'Dowd pull the wind out of Windward's sails. They claim the first ever Open Division Girls Championship. The season is almost here. The off-season, the focus wasn't necessarily on what happened on the field, off the field issues. There's so many incredible players in Southern California, but one quarterback, at least to us, seems to stand above the rest. He does literally, I think, at about 6'6", and figuratively as well. Speaking of precision and care, I'd like to thank Randy Rosenblum, Eric Sondheimer, and all of these guys as well. My name is Danny Page. Thanks to our entire team that put this together. We'll see you next time on Varsity Roundup as we prepare for the playoffs, Joe. The Chaminade Eagles soar to a state football championship. A big win over Enterprise for Ed Croson and company. Donovan Lee, the key tonight for the Eagles. 4 games down and one big one to go. The biggest high school football game in America this season as De La Salle battles St. John Bosco, and it's live right here on Time Warner Cable. Welcome to The Ticket, the StubHub Center, the home of the CIF State Football Championships. My name is Danny Page, and this is CIF Championship Game Day. A challenging road to a championship for Chaminade as they were forced to overcome over the last 2 weeks the two teams that had beaten them earlier in the season. They took care of Sarah. They handled Hart, and tonight drove over Enterprise, a 41-9 victory. Rarely do high school track stars draw as much attention as Notre Dame's Khalfani Muhammad. But all eyes are on him this weekend as he looks to defend 3 state sprinting championships from a year ago. Let's take a quick jog over to the couch to sit down with our friend Khalfani Muhammad. No matter the season, no matter the storylines, Southern California is always loaded with an unreal amount of talent. Here on the Football Preview Special, we've been forced to narrow that huge pool of players down to the top 15 to watch this season. We start where else but the quarterback position. Hello again, my name is Danny Page. This is CIF Championship Game Day. The boys from Newport Beach, the Sea Kings of Corona Del Mar, they left their surfboards and sandals at home. They brought their shoulder pads to the StubHub Center, and they churned out a gritty state championship win in Division III. In recruiting, the rich often get richer, and this year is no exception. Let's take a look at the top classes across the country according to Rivals.com. Look at that. The national champion finishes with the best class. The only other unbeaten team in the country is number 2, and then the national runner-up Notre Dame third. Coming up on this 2013 CIF recruiting special, Southern California possesses some of the top prep football players in the country. We'll break down the area's best that are moving on to the next level. Plus, Nebraska-bound quarterback Johnny Stanton and running back Terrell Newby will join us in studio. The first TV interview for these future teammates. It's all about tomorrow's stars today on the 2013 CIF Top Recruits Special.
I really love USC. It's by far the best university I've been around, the best fans, best players. We're really fortunate to be at USC, and we love being there.
Turn to go, turn to go. Quick, quick, quick. That's it, that's it.
defensive coordinator Ed Orgeron can say that with certainty. This is his second stint at USC, spending the last 5 years in the SEC and the NFL.
I mean, you're a Southern guy. You belong in the SEC, don't you? Why are you here at USC?
I just feel that they let me be who I am, and they love who I am here. You have the opportunity to coach the best players in the country. It's a great school. I just love it here.
Orgeron left USC after spending 7 years working under Pete Carroll and Paul Hackett to take the head coaching job at Mississippi.
As a coach, as you grow, you always want to become a head coach, right? And you got that opportunity. You went to Mississippi. Talk about that experience in the SEC. Talk about being the head coach, the leading man.
I thought it was a great experience. You know, we recruited our team. When we got there, we had a very depleted roster. We filled up the roster. We competed hard against LSU, Alabama at overtime, and we didn't have the type of players that we thought we could to beat those guys, but we played at a high level. And, we just didn't get a chance to finish the job.
I couldn't agree more. Was it difficult for you watching that Cotton Bowl the next year when your players that you had recruited went in and beat that one-loss Texas Tech team?
You know, I can just say this. The day I left Mississippi behind. And then I moved on forward with my career. And I'm very happy to be back at USC. It's really a blessing. And so I'm happier now than I've been in the last 5 years coaching.
And that's good news for the Trojans. On top of being one of the premier recruiters in the nation, Orgeron is one of the best motivators around.
Set, hut. I like it, George, down. Hut.
It has to be difficult to motivate players that can't reach the postseason. You know, what do you say to these guys now? How do you keep them on their game all 13 days? They can't win a championship. They're not ranked in one of the polls. How do you deal with that?
You have some very competitive coaches, some very competitive young men. They're still here to play football. Number one, to get a great education. Number two, to win every game. We still can win every game. And number three, go to the NFL.
Orgeron is also a seasoned defensive line coach, teaching the most skilled unit on this year's USC team.
What do you do specifically as a coach to build a great defensive lineman? Let's go beyond the recruiting.
Yeah.
Technically,
train them.
How do you work with the players?
We train them. Technique. Quick. Ice pick. That's it. Now accelerate. We demanding. We train them. This is how we're going to do it. This is the way to get it done. They buy into the system. They play hard. Work your feet and hands. Reduce the pad. Let's go. They dominate. All out effort on the back. Effort, Juicy. Effort. Quick. Finish. Atta baby. They have great technique. They're in great shape. We don't have any fat defensive linemen. Quick, get vertical with your feet. Get vertical with your feet, Kevin.
There seems to be no question when talking to Coach O, the Trojans will win games, and his players will move on to the next level.
You got some great coaches on the staff, guys that are highly motivated, players that are highly motivated to get to the NFL, and they're going to get their dream here to get to the NFL and graduate from University of Southern California.
Yes, thank you, Paul. So many outstanding individual athletes here tonight. But let's remember, there's a team competition at stake, too, on both the boys' and girls' side. Let's take a look at how this competition is scored. For first place, each first place you receive 10 points. Second place pulls in 8, and then 6 for third, and 1 point descending all the way down. Now on the girls' side, Long Beach Poly, they're really the only horse in the race, as so many see it. They simply have more entrants than anybody else. On the boys' side last year, Sherman Oaks Notre Dame pipped Sarah by just 2 points. Those two, the favorites. Loyola is in the mix as well. Now it's not just the track events, of course, that count for these points, but field events as well. And let's take a look at some of the stars that we'll see on the infield tonight. And there really is one man leading the way, Adoree Jackson from Sarah. He stars on the basketball court, the football field, on the track, and oh yeah, in the long jump, one of the best marks in all of America. What about Caitlin Merritt, the Trinity League pole vault champion? She is expected to take this event as well, one of the most dominant female pole vaulters we have seen in recent years. From Orange Lutheran, who else but Miles Hawkins? He participates in the high jump and long jump, but he's best known for his triple jump abilities. And then last but not least, the big boy, Nick Ponzio from Great Oak. We might see some records broken tonight. Nick in the shot put probably has the best opportunity to make some major noise. We're going to take a break. The 4x100 girls relay on the way here from Fresno.
Let's go to Danny Page with Malik McCord. Danny?
Yeah, Malik, the lead is down to 7, but you have to be pleased with the way you guys have asserted yourselves down low.
Starting out, yes. I just thought when they made their run, we got very sloppy, and we put them back in the game. So we got to clean up our passing second half, and we just got to keep attacking them.
And when they started to claw back into this game, they really picked up the pace offensively. Can you guys do anything to slow them down and play more to your game?
Yeah, stay in control. One, play our defense, because that's what we started slipping up on, and everything starts with us with defense. They went out of the zone and went to man, and we got to take advantage of that.
Two really strong basketball teams, though. This is special, isn't it?
Yeah, that's great. We couldn't ask for anything better.
Okay, good luck, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Gentlemen, back to you two.
We kick off the championship review with what else? The biggest football game of the season, the Open Division State Bowl game between SoCal powerhouse Centennial and dominant De La Salle from NorCal. The Huskies take the field hungry for a state title. De La Salle looking for a 4th consecutive state crown. De La Salle's Tio Pepe Vitale scores twice on 2-yard runs in the first quarter, breaks the school's single-season rushing record 14-0 at that point, and now Vitale showing the breakaway speed right through the secondary, and it's a 45-yard touchdown, and it's 21-0. Towards the end of the half, the Huskies get on the board, though, from inside 2 yards. Austin Rankin takes it in. It's 28-7, but the Huskies compose before the start of the second half, and Robert Weber pulls them back in the game, finding Chase Crevichet, a 45-yard score, and the Huskies are within 2 scores. But this is De La Salle. They obviously answer back. A 40-yard touchdown to Austin Lone Star through the air, 35-14 at this point. Let's head to the final frame. The Huskies down 21, trying to find a way back into this one. From inside the 10, Weber finds Barry Ware. It's 42-28. But the Spartans, another immediate response. This time, Vitale, 48-28. He finishes with 145 yards and 4 touchdowns on 25 carries. Legendary De La Salle coach Bob Ladouceur, unclear, this might be his last game. 399th career win. That is their 4th championship at the state level, avenging a previous defeat to Centennial. And the Sarah Cavaliers in their fiery red fired up to face Oakdale, who's making their first ever trip to the Home Depot Center. Marcus Rogers on the opening drive bounces off a tackle, turns on the Jets, and takes this one all the way 27 yards for the score. Sarah leading early. The following drive, it's Rogers again, this time stretching the play and going 57 yards for the score. Oakdale hasn't even blinked, and they're down 14-0. Rogers had 3 touchdown runs in the game. Let's move to the second quarter. Jalen Green to Adoree Jackson, wide open from 50 yards out. And can we cue the Adoree Jackson highlight reel, please? Under a minute till halftime. Check out this catch and run from Jackson. Makes a couple men miss on the right side, swings his way to the middle of the field, and look at him diving.
That's amazing.
What an incredible finish. Looks like something we would have seen in London. As we move on to the third quarter, here's Jackson back to punt. He says, you know what? I got this. We don't need to kick the ball. Simple run, straight up the middle, bursts it out to the left-hand side. 77 yards for the score. How do you stop that?
He's ridiculous.
Unbelievable stuff from the junior, mind you, Adoree Jackson. Less than a minute left in the third. Oakdale gets on the board here. Nick Rue on a 3-yard touchdown run. They followed up with a 2-pointer. Oakdale trails 42-8. Into the fourth, Oakdale's Marcus Northcutt. A 2-yard touchdown run, but it's too little, too late. Sarah claims a state championship 42-15, their second in 4 years.
Next up, Marin.
2 of the top 4 teams in the country getting ready as St. John Bosco prepares to take on De La Salle. It is the game we've waited all season for, and the game that so many around California and really around the country have built up as the biggest game of the season. My name is Danny Page. This is CIF Championship Game Day. A pleasure to be with you from the Ticket, the StubHub Center here in Carson, California. I bring in Robert Bronstein and JT Rogan. Guys, I'm just happy to have a ticket to this game. Robert, JT, guys, we've covered the state championships for a number of years. There hasn't been a big game with the big game feel like this one.
Well, it absolutely does, and St. John Bosco has done a great job this year. They deserve this spot. They're ready for it. They're going to challenge De La Salle, and the Spartans will come in, and they will do what they do and what they have done for the past 4 years. They'll go out there and expect to win this game.
they undoubtedly expect to win this game. You know, it was funny. I walked past a couple De La Salle parents on the way over here to the set from the press box, and they were talking JT casually and saying, you know what, I'm really going to miss this, as in their senior sons. It was their last trip to StubHub. They're used to this. They know what hotels to check into. They know exactly where to go and what to do ahead of this game.
They sure do, and that's great, you know. But Southern California, we're on a 3-game win streak this whole bowl CIF state championship. I think we're looking maybe to have that 4th one. Now, I know De La Salle, they're the veterans. They've been here. They've been coming here, like you alluded to. But St. John Bosco, number 1 in the country by some rankings. Now, a lot of times you'll get teams, 2 top 5 teams playing maybe early on in the season, maybe in the middle of the season. But at the end of the season, for the state championship, I don't know that there's been a bigger game in the state of California ever.
Clearly, we're a little excited about this one.
We
guys.
are.
The two teams are a combined 29-0. But as you said, the big factor to me that gives De La Salle the edge is the familiarity. They're going for a 5th straight title. They know what they're doing here. Robert, you have a real inside knowledge of this program. Tell me about that mentality.